All right, this is an interesting one, also in section 4.1. Says the graph of an exponential function with base a is shown to the right. Now, since you see it's going high to the left, and as you go to the right it goes down, this is actually some negative value of x, which makes it fractional. So these are fractions here that we're going to raise to different powers. So as we look at this for a, which is this? What does it show? Well, since it's starting high and going down, it's showing decay, and the values of this then would be less than 1 but greater than 0. These are the fractions. Remember, you can't have it that it's equal to 1 or that it's a 0. In part B, they're asking what would be the domain then of this. Well, the domain is all real numbers, and we write that in interval notation from negative infinity to positive infinity. Now, what is the range? Well, it's getting closer and closer to 0. Remember, your horizontal axis is your, in this case, the x-axis, and the equation for the x-axis, you recall, is y equals 0, which is your horizontal asymptote. So the range, it would start just beyond, and we'd use a parenthesis for that, 0, and go to positive infinity. All right, for letter C. Now here they're asking what below here is the graph of a to the x power plus 5. Well, what this does, the plus 5, remember, is your sort of like your y-intercept. So it's going to raise this point up here to 5. So it'd be the same shape, but just higher. And that's letter D over here. Now for letter C, or D I should say, what would be the range of this new graph? Well, again, I'm sorry, first the domain. The domain is all real numbers, which we've said. But now in this graph, let me go back here, we have a new horizontal asymptote. It's gone from 0 up to 5. Right there. So 5 is our new horizontal asymptote, and the equation of that asymptote would be now y equals 5. Remember, having it being an asymptote means it's never going to touch it. So the range then would be from 5 to positive infinity. Now let's go on to E. Now here they're saying which graph below is the graph of this. Now let me give you some background on this. Now the previous example was this. So the 5 was in the position of the y-intercept. But when the number is sort of included in the exponent, we said here it's usually the opposite sign of this. So we're looking for something with a -7 here. So we're shifting that line over this way to a -7. So this wouldn't be it, because you might think here that would be like this one, where that would be a -7 down in there somewhere. And it's not shifting it up to a +7. If this here was a +7, it would be sort of like this. And then this one would be shifting it to the right, which it's not doing, because it's not to a +7 this way. It's opposite signs. So that one's a little tricky. And the domain and range of this, again, your horizontal asymptote is still 0. So the range is this, and it still includes all real numbers. So from -infinity to +infinity. A lot of stuff here and insight. Hopefully this is helpful.